Okay. So tell me how, now you can see Swamiji's flavor, right? And
Beautiful.
more direct, is more direct to the point.
Such a flow, pravaham.
Huh?
Such a flow, clarity, pravaham. You know, amazing.
Guruji, I have a
Even a
question.
child can understand.
Yeah, I think it's more about practicality, Jai Kumarji, how to apply. I like the part that he emphasized on how to really bring it on an everyday basis in our life, the Panchamahayajna specifically. I mean, it is not done. I mean, we read it as part of Bhagavad Gita, but the practicing part of it is so important. I mean, it definitely changes you. And since I started it, every day, it makes a huge difference, huge difference.
So we will have a session on Panchamahayajna. Swamiji said, since Swamiji emphasized it, rather than take it for granted, why not just spend half an hour on it? What is Panchamahayajna? I'll also do some homework and I'll have to refer to that. In Yajurveda, there is a particular quotation where they talk Panchamahayajna. I'll bring that in. And let's discuss. How do we make this practical? How can it become part of our life? Why are they saying Panchamahayajna is a very good alternative to the Vedic Anushtanas that we were supposed to do? Those days, our grandparents and all used to do. Parents also, to some extent. And so how come? So let's discuss all this. Let's devote a whole session on it. Okay, is that all right?
Yes, sir. Very, very good.
Yes.
I think it's a good idea.
And so, so alertness and all is so important. Swamiji just emphasized that.
Basically, what I do is I take just few grains of rice, put it outside for the birds, or take some kind of non-perishable item, give it to food to whoever is needed on a daily basis. Like the way Guruji said is, you have to find somebody who's hungry and do it, but it is not possible in the US. So non-perishable items, I just keep it on an everyday basis for the hungry and I give it to them. And think about the Pitrus. Basically, if you have your parents, do seva to them on a daily basis. That is the biggest thing that you can do for the Pitrus. And when I go to India, I do that. But otherwise, you just pray and offer and then do the Shraddha and Tarpanam and things. And Deva Puja, obviously, most of us do that every day. And then Shastra Puja, you do whatever little bit of Vedic chanting or whatever you can do on a daily basis. It is easy to do once you start, Jayakumarji.
So what we'll do is this, in that session, Panchamahayajna session, once we understand the various aspects, what each of us can do is tell us, like you have told us what you do on a daily basis. Each of us can share, what do we do? Or maybe I don't do anything. Now only I'm beginning to understand and therefore I'm going to do. Okay, so we'll listen. But for those who are doing, I think it'll be good for others to hear it and get some ideas. Oh, this is one way to do it. I didn't realize that. Okay. So that I think will be a really practical session for us to have, is what I feel. Yeah, Maheshji, you wanted to say something.
Yeah, I was saying that, Mohiniji was saying birds are, right now in, I don't know about Ohio or somewhere place, but in Houston, you keep some cooked rice outside. We do get crows.
Yeah.
In our backyard.
We get birds here every day. It comes in front of, even in winter, I'm telling you, even if there is snow, I would put it in a small plate-like thing. They'll come.
Yeah, so I leave cooked rice, just like we do in India. And
it's so
backyard and it goes away.
One small correction here.
It's very cute.
One small correction here. In wildlife, especially on the beach, where clearly they say, do not feed the wildlife because you are going to mess up their immunity. And then they can prosecute us.
No, that is because, I mean, in Houston, there was a talk about that in the television, from Houston Zoo. They are saying is people are feeding popcorns to swans in the lakes around in Houston. they are not used to that. But giving cooked rice to bird is normal. I mean, they eat. We are not giving anything unknown. I mean, not like giving meat to the cows in this country.
Yeah, so let's talk about all these things. So these are all important things, right? So it seems straightforward, but yet also there are some niyamas, some rules to follow. Some awareness is needed. It is not just obvious unless we've been doing it for a long time. So we will.
And one other thing, Jagamarji, I know he talked about this puja, I mean this prayer. It so happened that couple of days ago I was reading the Bhagavad Gita, some of the commentaries given by Chinmayananda. So in one place, I don't recall offhand which, obviously it is 11 or before. I have not gone beyond that. There it says, he says the praying, irrespective whether the fact that whether you get the results or not, he says the praying helps you to mentally accept the results you get. That's what Chinmayananda made one of the commentaries in one of the slokas. I don't remember offhand what it was. So I kind of resonated with what he was saying. Not necessarily we get the result, but it gives us the mental capacity to accept the results.
Which is a result of prayer. Which is a result of prayer. So prayer is karma, and karma phalam is the ability to accept whatever comes.
Right, because I think it was a satsang video, and he was talking about when somebody asked this question. This is of course many years old. Somebody asked this question that if that is why people go to we pray for everything. Why we are sometimes we get it, sometimes we don't get it. We see some good families get decimated, in our own lifetime, right in front of our eyes. So there you are saying that prayer helps you to become resilient, or whether you are able to accept the results, whatever you get. Manapakvam. So that's what it is.
Correct. Very true.
That's being cognizant of the fact that Ishvara is karma paladata, right? That you keep remembering that as you pray. That's when you become more in acceptance with what comes to you.
And you accept it as Ishvara Prasada, whatever comes.
So therefore, there is a prayer. I want something. I want X. I want this disease to be cured. Yeah. That's the desire. Swamiji said, you don't get what you desire, you get what you deserve. A very nice, catchy statement.
Right.
And so, let me deserve what? Let me deserve that my disease gets cured. Let me deserve. Let me be a worthy recipient of that. Because that's what now the prayer language has changed, right? Because our understanding has changed. Previously it was, I pray, therefore I will get. Then afterwards I get dejected. What is this? I've been praying, but I'm not getting. Then all this study happens, then we become more mature. And so, therefore, what I deserve, let at least make me deserve what I want. Okay, that's a prayer that I have no control over, only you have control over. And so,
not only that, Jagamaji, people
need to do
with
the good karma to
terminal
be
illness,
deserved.
like
Huh?
cancer, people like with a terminal illness like cancer and all that, I know my own cousin, she passed away many years ago, at the age of 36 or 37. And I remember in the last few months, she will pray that, please, she never prayed that cure me of cancer. She said, give me the strength to bear the pain. That's what it always, I remember. So the request changed from curing to bearing it.
definitely. So prayer is powerful, therefore, correct? Prayer is powerful. No, Swamiji doesn't say don't pray. Ishvara is karma phala dhata is not the same as not do. You don't pray. They're two different things. Prayer is my right. Prayer is the Swamiji, Puja Swamiji would say prayer is the only act where the free will is really free. Really free. Everywhere else, the free will is somewhat constrained. I'm doing it because I have to do it, that kind of stuff. But prayer, there is nobody can tell me you did not pray. I can pass the entire day without praying at all. But therefore, that prayer is an act, deliberate act, and every deliberate act will have a result. And okay, Bhagavan has no free will.
I like the statement.
That's a revelation. That's a revelation. But he is a karma phala data, though. And therefore, I have the right to pray. And you please make sure you reorder your priorities so I get what I want.
And also prayer can be
I prayed. Now my mind is a little lighter. Because I've done my job. I've done my job. My job is to pray. Okay. And so therefore I've done my job. And then, as Maheshji said, now that becomes a shock absorber. That shock absorber, this is a very big thing for us. Falling, you can't prevent, but I can fall on that trampoline. Provide me that trampoline. Hey, Bhagavan.
And also, Jagamarji, this, if praying, also need not be asking for something. It could be thanksgiving for the facility I've got so far in my life. Why should I always be asking for something new?
So prayer should change from asking to thanking.
Thanksgiving.
Thanking. That's amazing. So towards the end, what we say, Mantrahinam, Kriyahinam, Bhaktihinam, Maheshwara, Yat Pujitam Mayadeva, Paripurnam Tadastute. That is one thing. That is for puja. Then, Kayena Vacha Manasendreva Buddhyatmanama Prakrite Swabhavat Karomi Yadyat Sakalam Parasmai Narayanayeti Samarpayam. Whatever I knew, I did. I did my best. That's a very good thing. Saying that, I did my best today. At the end of the day, I say, you know what? I did my best today. I could have I could have said better things. I could have said better words, maybe. But I think I did best. And so that prayer is very beautiful. And convert the prayer to vichara. Apply it to your life today. How was today? People ask, how was your day? Oh, it is fine. Well, in our case, how was the day means assess your day. Assess your day and make an assessment. Was it the way? Was it in keeping with my study of the Shastra? And what are the things I could have done better? So I think you're right. So prayer does not mean asking. Does not mean asking at all. And asking is a child's prayer. A child prayer is asking. But then a parent becomes mature and help me, give me the prasada buddhi. We keep saying prasada buddhi, but sometimes we need that prasada. When I really need it, I don't have it. I find it's not there. Okay, no, give it to me. Give me that prasada buddhi. So see how our understanding is kind of has been transitioning in time, right? As we study. Going out there and telling the public that Ishvara has no free will. It won't work. It won't work. In fact, we think only Bhagavan has controlling the world. Only he has free will. Only he has free will. You are coming and telling me Bhagavan has no free will, no choice. That's absurd. Yeah, that absurdity has to be turned around like this. We need a lot of Shravanam for that.
But in one way, that statement is true, no, Jaykumarji, because he is a karma pala data. Whatever you deserve, that only he can give. No, like that he is limited, no?
Okay, so look at this. Here is a ball. This ball is there, no? The squeeze ball. Here's a ball. So I'm going to throw the ball up. Where should the ball go?
It should go up and come back.
Oh, and come back also.
Yes, of course.
Why it should come back? I want the ball to go up, 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 up like that. That's why I'm doing like this. Why it should come on down?
Because of gravitation, and whatever goes up, it has to come down. That is Prakriti.
So now you are attributing something to something else, and so that is Ishvara. For us, that law that you said, hey, whatever has to go up has to come down.
Yes.
Whatever has to go up has to come down. You say, well, Ishvara is Pratyaksham right here operating. He is the karma phala data. That is, this is the karma. This is the phalam. The phalam is I'm able to enjoy playing with the ball. Okay, with a boy here, girl here, I can enjoy. Okay, so that's phalam. Karma phala data. He is a karma phala data. But the law is already there. It's not like Bhagavan is using the free will to say, you know what? Oh, this ball is going up. Wait, I need to activate my gravitational energy. Wait, Jaykumar, just wait. Let me get ready. And then let me turn on my computer. Not that kind of free will, correct? Not that kind of free will. It's operating. All laws are operating. And that operating system is called Ishvara. It's called Ishvara, which is different from somebody like me who has free will and has to act on it. Act on that free will to do something, get something done. But Bhagavan, when we say karma phala data, that datritvam is not like my datritvam. When I have to give somebody, birds are there, right? Tulasi plants are there, I have to go put water. Only then the plants will grow. And with this heat in Coimbatore, otherwise they will fade away. I'm also a data, right? In a way. And that data comes from free will. What about karma phala datrit? I don't think it comes from free will. That datritvam is not free will. I don't think so. Free will means he has to have a mind and he has to watch all these things and say, wait a minute, and all he has to say. Only then free will. Otherwise, the law itself is operating. The operating system will give the result. That's the difference there. And so, Rukminiji, that's the way I see it. That's the way I see it. That datritvam is different. I don't give it. Therefore, I attribute it to Bhagavan. The fact that it is there, fact that there is a law that says something that goes up has to come down on the surface of earth, because surface of moon, this doesn't happen. If you throw something at that, I don't know what will happen. In moon, I think it'll go all the way up. And then after a long time, it will come down. Maybe the gravitation force is lighter, right? So there's something to think about, I think, Rukminiji.
Guruji, like here in our culture, right, the prayer is a very integral part. Like we do group prayer in temples, they do the Kutu Prarthana, group prayer, right? So where they collect our wishes and then together they pray and they consider it very powerful. That is one example. And also, like if there are many temples which are specific wishes they get through. Like for example, for marriage, for early marriage, they go to one temple. For getting child also they go to one temple. So for particular wishes, there are some temples where we can go and we can get those some nivarti, or we can get it. So I think the prayer is very integral part. Many people are also able to achieve what they wanted. Like whatever they desired, they're able to get it. So I think maybe like for like in your example, right? Like you mentioned the ball. Probably if you throw it with a higher speed, like higher velocity, which is greater than escape velocity, it can still go, right? So similar to that, probably there are some specific temples where you go, you may get your desires fulfilled also, right? According to our belief.
Right. So the Raghav's question is, wait, there are some temples, devatas, which are powerful they are known to be very powerful for certain things. Not having children, but want to have children. There are devatas. You have to do all that. You have to go buy a little, what do you call that? That little cradle. And then you have to hang that cradle on the tree. The tree is full of cradles. You go there, what is this they've done? Immediately you will get an idea. Oh, yeah. So that's the prayer. I want it and then. Now, do you think that everybody who has prayed to that God has got the baby? Raghavan, have you done the interview and all? Have you done your research?
No, may not be true. Like maybe everybody did not get it, but probably majority might have got it. That's why, because others will tell like, okay, you go here. This is very powerful. By word of by somebody suggesting, many people will go. This has come true for my friend. So you please visit this temple. So like that, by word of mouth, it is spreading. So many people are going to the temple.
Raghavan, my
Maybe it
question
is not happening for all.
Raghavan, my question is very simple. 1,000 people visited the temple today or yesterday or yes, one day. Did all the 1,000 people get what they want? They went to have a child. They didn't have a child. They've tried for 10 years. It's not working out. So they went. What is it? Do you think everybody will get what they want?
No, like not 100% definitely.
You are so sure that it can't be 100%, correct? Without interviewing anybody, you are so sure, correct?
Correct.
What makes you say that? Because the only answer you can give is, in my life also, I prayed for things, but not everything seems to happen the way I want it to happen. Therefore, you are extending that logic to every other person in this world, to every other devata, and every other reason for which they are praying and saying, no, I don't think 100% is not a possibility. That's what you're saying. That's how confident you are, correct?
Correct.
All the people who got spoke about it.
And there are people who speak, there are people who don't get also, who sometimes speak about it and get angry with God also. Those such people also I have met.
That's why somebody said that to become an astrologer is easy. Every time 50% possibility is there.
So, because astrologer is very sure, there's a lot of chance in this. And so he will tell you to do so many things, to cover all those, increase the chances of something happening. Therefore, then why God is not giving that, answering that prayer? What is that? God has a problem or what? Is a shortage of cash in his bank? Shortage of power, Shakti, Karma Phala Data. And karma is I want this. If God cannot do it, who's going to do? Neighbor is going to do or what? Why? Why it's not 100%? That means seems like God is not that great. There is a book written by an author. You know what the author's name is? That person, author who died, the missionary position, he wrote about Mother Teresa, and he wrote a book called God is Not Paid. Look at that.
Dawkins, Richard Dawkins.
No. Even before Dawkins became famous, he wrote this book, Missionary Position. Okay. If somebody can Google it, they can tell the author. Okay? Quickly you can find out. You can find his talks on TV. He's talking about the Christian God. Okay. And he says God is not great. I'm saying our God also is not great. Because he's not answering all the prayers. How does he choose those 90 people? How does he reject the remaining 10 people? So, as remember, we are all Vedanta students. We are not saying prayer has no value and this and that. No, prayer is important in one's life. We say, in fact, Vedanta students also should pray. Every day, prayer has to be there.
Christopher Hitchens.
Christopher Hitchens, correct. Christopher Hitchens, that's the name. Okay, that's the name. He has written a book called God is Not Great. I used to have the book when I was in the US. I probably gave it somewhere. So he's a jnani. Basically, he's figured out all these things. And he says, hey, if your God is compassionate, how come he's causing all this sorrow? That's why he's not great. His logic is very simple. That one logic is enough. If God is so great, then he should not create suffering. That is why Christianity has no answer for all these questions. Because for them, God is a person, a very powerful person who has a lot of free will and power. And he will make or break your life. Okay? Be careful. For eternity, he can send you to hell or eternity heaven. Be careful what you do. So here what we say is, prayer is very important. Why? Swamiji said just now, one word he said. What happens if you pray?
Ahankara, sublimation of
Ahankara.
Sublimation of ahankara. He used that word, remember. That is our greatest benefit for people like us who are into Vedanta, where the only barrier between me and the Shastram is my own ahankara. Correct? My own ahankara does not allow because ahankara will not allow, because it says that if it allows, ahankara will go away. So ahankara is afraid that this fellow is in the process of destroying me. Therefore, I will do whatever it takes to not leave this place. Therefore, prarthana, this surrender. The surrender is so important. Just, I let go, I let. So that is what happens in the prayer. That is the result of prayer for us. For you and me, that is the result of prayer. And now knowing that Ishvara has no free will, he is a karma phala data. Whatever I deserve, I will get. With or without Ishvara. With or without Ishvara means what? With any knowledge of Ishvara or without any knowledge of Ishvara, I am going to get what I deserve. And so, with that idea, I will continue to pray for what I want. Ahankara is subdued. As Vedanta students, it's very important. Very important. For us, prayer is even more important. Please take a note. I'll give you Swamiji's number if you want. You are welcome to communicate with Swamiji, okay? Directly also. And his insights are very different. Be prepared to be surprised, okay? When you talk to Swamiji. And he will be direct. He won't do this because he knows we're all ready for it. We're not here for having a picnic. So he will give you the message right away. And so prayer is even more important for us. We start the class with a prayer. We end the class with a prayer. I start my meetings, Arsha Seva Kendra meetings with a prayer and end with a prayer. Why? Because prayer is essential. I don't control anything. And just to help me understand that I don't control anything, I have to pray. And until I become very comfortable with the fact that I don't control anything, correct? The CEO is the CEO is anxious because even the CEO is unable to control all outcomes. Even the CEO who can tell everybody what they should do, he can override everybody in the company. But why is he stressed out then? They say it is lonely up there. Lonely. That the most depressed guy, potentially most depressed, is the CEO. Because he's used to controlling everything, everybody, and he's used to everybody listening to him. And the minute he goes home and the dog doesn't listen to him, and the son doesn't listen to him, daughter doesn't listen. This guy says, I can't live in my house. Really, the psychology of CEOs is just absolutely mind-boggling. It is very simple, actually, psychology. And he can't stay in his home because wife won't listen, or husband will not listen, son won't listen, daughter won't listen, dog will of course not listen. So at least dog will come, wag the tail and come. So he loves the dog more than the other. Because this guy used to controlling everything.
Somebody says that it is because the dogs only listen, they keep the dogs.
Exactly. No, that is true. That is true. Pets, because pets are there. At least this being won't ask me questions. Let எதிர்த்து பேசுறது. In Tamil they say எதிர்த்து பேசு. All parents will tell us எதிர்த்து பேசாத. Means don't ask this what do you call that in English? I don't know how to say it. Ask a question, you have to answer. Don't ask me another question. Who are you to ask me a question?
Don't cross question like Morarji.
Cross question. Yeah, exactly. So the prayer is so important, but the purpose of prayer is for us is very different. This we are learning and we'll continue to learn. So I think thanks to Swami for bringing that once again and saying some apparently harsh sentences like Bhagavan has no free will. I mean, we can handle it. We can handle all this. Because Bhagavan has free will, by then I would have got everything I asked for. Why did I not get? Very obvious. But nobody actually made a statement like this. And that is why it is shocking to hear it. And so that's the elephant in the room, like they say, right? In Vedanta, we address the elephant in the room. So Vijay, you wanted to say something.
Yeah, I was. So one thing he mentioned, I think, during the session, that who are you praying to actually?
Okay.
Finally. So yeah, eventually you will realize you are praying to yourself, and so maybe you have to become more deserving, so that your so-called prayers, which is not for asking, starts to fructify. That's how I understood. Probably that's one thing. Second is when he mentioned about Panchabhuta Mahayajna. Is this for Chitta Shuddhi, or is it for enhancing our eligibility, or to gain the knowledge? What is it for? Or for both, maybe?
Pancha Mahayajna is a karma. Mahanarani Upanishad said, na karmana na prajaya dhane na tyage naike amritattvamana shuhu. Some people have gained immortality. By what? Na karmana, na prajaya. Not by any karma. You can, whatever karma, secular, non-secular, religious, this, that, you put all that. That is the meaning of na karmana. Not by karma. Na prajaya. No, I'll have children. I'll be better off if I have children. Okay, initially that thought is okay. But after that, I can't keep hanging on to that thought. In fact, many people say, because of my children, I'm sad. I'm glad you don't have children. Huh? So easily said, huh? So they are enlightened now. Without studying Shastram, they have become enlightened. Huh?
It's like, bail mujhe maar.
Huh?
It's like, bail mujhe maar.
Bail mujhe maar. So, na karmana, na prajaya, na dhanena. Dhanena. Maybe I'll be happy if I have a lot of wealth. Sorry. Na dhanena. Tyage naike. Tyaga. Tyaga what? Okay. Physically, tyaga is there. That's why they say lead a simple life. Don't make life complicated. This is simple, good advice. Don't complicate your life. If you can live with just a few things, live with those few things. Even if you can afford to purchase those other things. Okay, simple. Why? Because later on, Tyagi Naike is going to come. Later on, they are preparing you for this. Live simple. Later on, Tyaga is to convince, then it becomes easier. But what is the Tyaga that I need to do? Yeah. Now you said today, Ahankara sublimation is good, prayer is good because I have not prepared myself. Every day I have been praying. Now Tyaga, to give up that Ahankara. Give up the Ahankara means what? Give up the idea that I control everything. Give up the idea that Bhagavan has Ahankara and therefore has free will and he's going to give me a lot of goodies. Punyam, what about Punyam? Will Punyam give me knowledge? Punyam, okay, answer the question. Will Punyam give me knowledge?
Not directly.
No.
Not directly. Not directly.
No.
No, it again depends, Guruji, on what you want to use that punyam for. Meaning, yes, you have some punyam. No, you can decide to use it for gaining some material comforts or for enhancing your spiritual journey or whatever, right?
Yeah, you can use it for Chitta Shuddhi, definitely. So it won't be direct, it will be indirectly contributing to moksha.
See, it is not like you have a bag of punyam in your locker and then you can, today I'm going to open that punyam box and I'm going to use it for, you can't, it's not like, punyam is not available at all really for me.
No, but Guruji, punyam, is it not the pleasant things that happen in your life is because of your punyam?
So I'm saying punyam is not like cash that is available to you in your pocket. It just manifests itself as pleasant experiences or as some circumstances. Some announcement comes, Swami Paravidyananda ji is in town. Okay, now what am I going to do is the question. I have 15 things that I'm busy with. There is no time to go at 6:30 to Bharati Vidya Bhavan and then be there for 1.5 hours and then come back. The whole evening is gone. This is one way I can think. Or I can think, you know what? Let me look at those 15 things. Are there any things that I can postpone? Are there any things that I have to do? Now, that thought process is a result of punya. Punya has given me Swamiji coming close to my home. And I need more punya because I have to deal with these 15 things. Therefore, that also I need punya to say that, okay, I can postpone this. These 3 things I can postpone. Maybe I should call that person and apologize. And maybe I can invite that person also to the, something you have to think through. That ability to do that requires punya. Everything is punya. This Shastra Vitaram is punya. So until I come to a point, Vyavasayatmika buddhihi ekeha kuru nandana, that Vyavasayatmika buddhi is needed. It doesn't say don't do anything and all that. It says you have to do. You will be constantly asked to do things as long as you're a human being. And even a sannyasi has to do a lot of things. So Vyavasayatmika buddhi is needed. And that is a prayer. Give me Vyavasayatmika buddhi. Ekeha kuru nandana. My goal is crystal clear. Make my goal crystal clear for me. Right now I'm not clear. Please make me crystal clear. Beautiful prayer it is. And when I say it, it will manifest. Because even Bhagavan will become tired. Tired of this guy constantly asking for the same thing again and again. I just give it. Sooner or later it will happen.
Punya helps you to take the right choices when you have a free will.
Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. Right choice. I know also what I should do, but I can't do. Because of so many constraints. There are too many constraints, and for all of us have constraints. There is no such thing as an unconstrained person. Not there. Not possible. And so, punya helps me resolve constraints day after day after day after day. It's going to be happening constantly. Therefore, the prayer has to be constant. Until I get jnanam, until I get jnana nishtha. Our Shastram says even a sannyasi has to pray. Pray. They don't have to chant all these things, namas, this, that. They will say Gayatri. And then Gayatri chant for a while, and Gayatri is collapsed into Om. Pranava mantra. That is what a sannyasi has to chant. But a sannyasi will not be asking for anything. No chance. No chance. I mean, a jnani sannyasi will not be asking for anything. A karma yogi himself will not ask for anything. You think about it. Put yourself in the shoes of a karma yogi. We are all karma yogis. We are all becoming karma yogis. We are all karma yogis. So that asking for something, thanking is good. Because we have got enough already in our lives. Ups and downs are there. Many ups and downs are there. Yes, all of us have faced traumatic situations in our life. And so, still I'm here today. How come? After all this trauma, I'm still here? That has to be some punyam that's working in my favor. So there are infinite reasons to pray and thank Bhagavan for it. And final laddu to milta hai. Tu or main. We can laugh at Shiva and say, what is this game? Why are you playing this game, Shiva? What is all this? And finally, come on, let's have a cup of tea. We can talk to Shiva like that. What do you like, Shiva? You never told me. They give you bilwa leaves. Come on, for a change, I think you should have something else. Too much bilwa leaves you have. Sitting in a smashanam. Today we'll go somewhere else. Like that, we should be confident and have a chat. That is the laddu. So, Tyaga, but Tyage naike amritattva manusham. I can't put one leg there and one leg here. Like this Navaratna mixture. Some sweet things are there, some kara things are there, cashew is also there, and some creative people will put pistachio also in it, and just have a Navaratna mix, bundi and all that. That bundi thing will not work with Advaita Vedanta. I am free, I am full, I am complete. The problem was me, the solution was me, I am free. So, any other thoughts? Come on, guys. It was meant for a discussion. Yeah, Meera.
So, Guruji, coming back to that same question which is floating in the group regarding animals and human beings, there were questions like do they stay in the present and all that. I was just trying to connect this conversation, which I thought like human beings.
Is the discussion over or not over?
No, it's not over. So human beings have the ability to exercise the free will and gain punya. Can be one of the highlights of the significant of being a human being. Like we have the capacity to exercise free will and gain punya, whereas so maybe, as you said, the punya works in the long run. Maybe even the buddhi to understand that you are ignorant also is punya, right? You need to have some amount of punya. So in that sense, I thought maybe even if animals are acting by their instincts, because they don't have free will, this highlight point which I thought like human beings have since we can consciously act, so we have the capacity to generate punya, whereas it's not possible for an animal. So is that something which is
So this question is,
the question was like they are in the present, and they were we were discussing about like are they in the present, and how are human beings are also in the present, and we had discussions like no, they work through their memory also, so my point was even we can be animal natured if our punya is we have not done enough.
So this present moment, okay, it's an English phrase called present moment, and I don't use that phrase too often. I mean, we use different ways, like dhyana is meant us to get us to the present moment and be aware of it, and be as objective as possible. See, somebody mentioned present moment in that discussion, and she defined it as something like a person who is able to look at the past and assess the person's ragadveshas and makes the person somewhat free of the ragadveshas, so that I can be alive to what is happening now, and I can therefore respond more or less freely. Okay, that's called present moment. Now, if that is the definition of present moment, the question of animals living in the present moment does not even arise. That is what I was expecting somebody to say. Nobody said that. And present moment applies only to human beings who has all the ragadveshas, who has papa punya, who has so many constraints, who is a karta, who has so many duties. Only that person can talk about present moment, at least the way we have defined present moment. Correct? And so present moment does not even apply for plants. So saying that plants live in the present moment does a disservice to all the people who strive to live in the present moment, because animals are instinctive. There is no free will at all. Animals don't make an effort to live in the present moment, but we have to make an effort to live in the present. Okay? So animals are what they are. So we don't say animals live in the present moment. That means animals have the option of not living in the present moment also. It's not there at all. So they don't get any credit for that. That is the way they are, instinct, and you don't call that present moment. Because next Janma, that animal will be a human being. Then what? Then all back to square one. Samsara, full bloom samsara will be there.
Again, it comes back to choice. No, you have a choice to be in the present moment.
Yeah, so choice is there, which animals don't have. For we are talking about present moment for us, for the human being with free will and choice, and who is self-conscious. Self-conscious.
This is something which, yeah, we didn't think about. If you decide to live in a present moment, that means you had a choice not to live in one also.
We are constantly doing something which is required of us to be done at a given moment. And I do get caught up by what he said, she said, etc. What happened in the past and so forth. And mind is constantly running. So can I just switch off that for a minute? Maybe not for long, for some time, and just be quiet. If I say, that means what? I have recognized that I have to find a way to switch off stuff and just be alive to what is going on. And so that is present moment. Yeah, correct.
So all this adhikaritvam is all with respect to that, right? Shama, Dhamma and all that. Trying to live in the present moment.
So that's our way, Shastram's way of not just living in the present moment. Living in the present moment is just a phrase again. How do you define living in the present moment?
As you said, Guruji, Raga Dvesha you recognize and then you try to.
This karma originates from kama and krodha. That's what he says.
Yeah, so Sukha Dukkhe Samaya Kritva is not possible without living in the present moment.
Yeah.
Okay. Not possible. It is just a phrase. Take everything as equal. How you can take everything as equal? Not possible. Present moment is there, okay. My karma is unfolding. And now things are good. Now things are good. And so I'm happy for that. I'm happy for that. So present moment makes me say I'm happy for that. Present moment is what makes me say, I thank you for making my life comfortable. I thank you for allowing me to do some dhanam for others. That's a huge punya to come and say, I am in the capacity to help others. I thank you for that. Like that, I say that requires present momentness. If present moment is not there, prayer also will become mechanical. Prayer will be accompanied by some discomfort and pain. Oh, I must pray. So present moment is so important. And so Shastram says all that, Chamadamadi, and present moment is karma yoga, really speaking. It is a karma yoga phalam. It is not jnana phalam. Jnana phalam is moksha, which requires present moment living. Present moment living is a prerequisite for jnana. And jnanam also, present moment will continue forever. That we can see by observing our Swamis. And thousands of people come and ask them all kinds of stuff. And really, you know what? An average human being cannot handle that. They ask so many things. They will project their problems on the Swamiji. They will say, suppose somebody says, Swamiji, I can't live like this. This guy is just impossible. You do something. What? Somebody, 10 people come and tell you this, 10 different people come and tell you this. How will you deal with it? You will feel like running away. Because we can't handle it. Because that projection, we can't handle. It's a projection. It's not a problem in my life, but still I can't handle it. It's too much.
Psychiatrists in America commit the greatest suicides.
I can't handle it because I'm so sensitive that that pain is there, that they are experiencing. I am also now experiencing part of that pain. That's who that human being is. And if I experience that pain and I don't know how to deal with that pain, then I'll get finished. That is why a psychologist has to be trained. They need the training to deal with this from morning 8 to evening 5. Listening to these stories is not easy at all. And if they are not trained, if they are not mature, you know what will happen?
They'll end up.
They will ruin their life. They will go home and ruin that family. That family will get ruined. You can ask some of the psychologists in our class. They have to be strong. If they are doing it for money and all, I got a degree and I'll be a psychologist, that alone is not enough. I am qualified. I love to be a psychologist, and I'm confident that I can help people. That person is a true psychologist. Otherwise, the person will get affected. So I'm sure in the psychology curriculum, they will talk through all these things.
Empathy with detachment should be there now.
Huh?
Empathy with a detachment should be there for the psychologist, Guruji.
Yeah, correct. Empathy and detachment should be there. And so that's what our Shastram has its own way of telling it all that.
Even in pranic healing, the same thing is applicable. The pranic healer is actually taking on the disease from the patient, and he has to see that the healer does not get impacted by the disease.
Correct. What a concept it is. That's why they can be somewhere else, and the person, client, patient is somewhere else, and pranic healing works.
Correct.
Mind-boggling. But yeah, so that using the mind, two minds work together on that, you know. Yeah.
Dhanyavada, Guruji.
Thank you. Good. So happy Shankara Jayanti. Yesterday we had Shankara Jayanti here, and yeah, yesterday was a session, interesting session I had. I don't know how many of you had a chance to see it. Yeah, Neela Narayan. And
Jaykumar ji, that questions they were asking, it was not clearly audible.
correct. So I tried my best to repeat the question. Maybe I didn't.
Some of the questions we didn't get. With your answers only, we could correlate what could be it is.
Yeah, I should have remembered to repeat the question.
Yeah, questions were not audible.
Sometimes I do summarize the question, right? What is asking is, what is the sadhanam for? Jnanam, something like
But
that.
You said it very clearly, what is Advaitam and the difference between Dvita, Vishishta Advaitam and Advaitam. That was very clear how it is, you know.
Yeah, so last week they wanted me to meet with me, and then we met, and then they said we should keep it simple and all that they said. And then their questions are all saying, tell us the difference between Advaita, Vishishta Advaita and Dvaita. Simple. And in 3 minutes I'm supposed to say this.
Hanuman example was excellent.
In Shankara Seva Sadan?
No, here in Nanagani. And I told the audience, you know, these people they said I should keep it simple, but they're asking me all these questions.
The Hanuman example was superb. It was very good. That made us think also. It was an act.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So Abhimana. One has to go to Abhimana. So there was one questioner. Also Vaishnava, I think. And so, but I think he took it well. And I didn't say one is greater than the other and all that. He himself asked that Vaishnava himself asked the question that, is it true that because Advaita is quote unquote difficult, is that why Ramanujacharya proposed Vishishta Advaita? Like that, some questions were there. I said that could be. I mean, I have not read Ramanujacharya's life or his interview and all that. Only he can tell us why he proposed it. Or if scholars know, I think we should ask them. I said, the scholars I've heard seem to say that Dvaita is a stepping stone to Vishishta Advaita, which is a stepping stone to Advaita. That is there, and I help them see what it is. But that doesn't mean one acharya is better than another acharya at all. We need everybody. Dvaitam kimartam. Shankaracharya will say, Atma Prakashana. What? Dvaitam is there. The entire world is Dvaita. What is the purpose of Dvaita? Advaita is the purpose of Dvaita. Means Aham Advaitam iti jnanartham, jnana praptyartham. Dvaitam is needed. Because only in Dvaitam Guru will be there and Shishya will be there. And that is all Dvaitam only. Everything is Dvaitam. And so anyway, I tried to somehow manage. I think Rukminiji, you were listening, is it?
Yeah, I was listening. And the example of the wave is in the water, whereas wave is water. That is Advaitam. Wave is in water. That is Dvaitam. That example was also very good and appeal. That is clear. You know, we say in Advaitam, the wave is water. Wave is not separate from water. Whereas in Dvaitam, they say wave is in water. I am in.
So the question was asked by them actually. The question was, is it true that the wave is in water is Vishishtadvaita and or the wave is in the ocean is Vishishtadvaita, or there's really no wave but there is only ocean, that is Advaita? Something like that they asked. So now I have to translate all that to the audience. And so I gave that example once. That was the first time this example came up. So I told them this is an example that the Shastram uses. And I don't know if that is the time when I took the pot out. Or maybe I took the pot out when that lady asked the last question, I think. She said, anyway, this wave example, I gave that. And then I said, the wave can look at the ocean and say, you're water, I'm water. There's really fundamentally no difference between you and me. I have a different upadhi, you have a different upadhi. That's all. Upadhi, anybody can be different. That is Advaita. So this one lady asked the question. She said, I'm taking care of my mother. That must be close to 90. And so who am I taking? Who is taking care of whom? These questions and all came up. Which is a natural question to get, right? Who's taking care of you? Everything is Atma, everything is Brahma. Who is taking care of? Brahma need not be taken care of. Yeah, true. Do you have to have food or not? Now it's already 6:45. So your stomach is growling. Means yesterday I was talking 6:45 in the evening. Who is eating? Do you have to have food? Okay, yes, you have to have food. Okay, good. So food has to be consumed. Who is eating whom? Okay, you are consuming food. Mr. So-and-so or Mrs. So-and-so is consuming food X. Now, that's when I think I got this pot out of her bag. And guess what? After that pot lecture, she was so happy. She said, now I got it. I don't know what she got, but she said, I got it. I was so happy. They are not Vedanta students. That mommy is not a Vedanta student. I'm telling you, really. She knows no Tattva Bodha, nothing. I know she's right here, taking care of the mother. And her sister passed away recently, older sister. Her another sister passed away. Her husband passed away. And it's one series of passing aways in her life. Okay. And she's still solid, rock solid. Okay. And she says, I got it. I was very happy when she said that. She said this. She was sitting in the back seat. And I'll talk to her later. Because that see, two things are there. One is Advaita Drishti. Atma is free, I am Atma. That is one thing. Then, yes, still I am still a human being. I still have to pay my taxes if I'm getting some money. I still have to take care of my children or parents. I still have disease. I have to go seek a doctor. This is going on the side. Now you're telling me I'm Atma, I'm free. What freedom are you talking about? How is this Atma freedom connected with my life? It's a very something all of us have to reconcile and properly reconcile. I think this is why preparation is so important. Adhikaritvam is so important. Following our dharma is so important. Doing our duties is so important, because that lady, how could she understand without any Sanskrit knowledge, without any exposure to any Tattva Bodha or Atma Bodha or something? How? Because that adhikaritvam is there. That having done all the duties, the person has become ready. Pavitra Mama, just ready. He said, I got it. I mean, a lot more to study. I got it means that conflict I have now is gone. That's what she's saying.
I have a question, Jayakumarji. When you said for Dvaita, when you said wave is in water, but Dvaita is where the Jiva and the...
No, that's not correct. The wave is in water is Vishishta Dvaita.
Oh, Vishishta Dvaita. Because from what I heard is Dvaita is wave in water. That's
That's fine. We have to rephrase that. Rukmaniji, instead of saying Vishishta Dvaita, she said Dvaita. Mistake.
Okay.
That's what Vishishta Dvaita is. Dvaita means everything is different.
Yeah, because they are a part of the Vishnu.
Dvaita, another problem with Dvaita is the wave example, this ocean example you can't give. You know why?
They're totally different. They are separate all the time.
Separate it is. So you can't give the ocean example.
There's a masala dosa example also for that.
Huh?
There's a masala dosa example. In Davangere Benne dosa, the masala is kept outside the dosa. That is Dvaita. In Bangalore masala dosa, the masala is inside the dosa and served. That is Vishishta Dvaita. And if you grind the masala along with the dosa and serve, that is Advaita.
Like modern foods. You don't have to prepare. Go to the kitchen and then make all this grinding things. All this you don't have to do. Just open the fridge or something. Get this. What is that thing? They have this bars, protein bars. I think they call it something like that. Just eat bar. It's all mixed.
Breakfast bars.
Breakfast bar.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about all the urad dal, tur dal, rice, how much to put, 2:1, 5:1. No, and then it has to ferment also on top of that. Don't worry about all. Just buy a breakfast bar.
And another question I have, Jayakumarji, is, well, even though you have to deal with Dvaita and things in your life, the only way to differentiate is cognitively. I mean, you still have in Vyavahara, there will be Dvaita. There will always be there. Even for a Jnani, it will be there. But the difference is cognitively saying the Tattva is the same. And it has to be a cognitive differentiation, right? So like that is where we want to reach. And if that person has already understood that, that is really amazing. At a cognitive.
Therefore, you said it. You basically said what Advaita is, right? And the Advaita does not remove Dvaita.
Yeah, it is just.
The entire transaction continues to happen. Therefore, Advaita has to be cognitive. Cognitive means jnanena. Exactly like recognizing that the sun doesn't move. Really, the earth is what moves. It is purely cognitive. The sunrise continues to happen. Sunset continues to happen. You can even do your pujas based on sunrise time and sunset time. And tithi and all these things you can follow. Knowing very full well that sun is stationary. We continue to do. Like that, Advaita, like that, but not like that. Which is what? Advaita is cognitive, 100% cognitive. 100. Completely cognitive. Just like seeing the rope instead of the snake is 100% cognitive. Snake did not run away. Why? Why snake did not run away?
Because it wasn't there.
Because it wasn't there. Cognitive. There, exactly. So that is all cognitive. 100% cognitive. That's the beauty. That is why Swamiji today said, what did he say? Shankaracharya's Adhyasa Bhashyam is very important. Yes. What is Adhyasa Bhashyam? We'll study someday. I'll teach that to you. And Adhyasa Bhashyam is what? Adhyasa means what? Adhyasa means superimposition. That is the Sanskrit word for superimposition. And that superimposition, if you don't establish superimposition, then Advaita is meaningless. It's not, doesn't exist. Everything is real. Dvaita people don't talk about superimposition. Ramanujacharya does not talk about superimposition. He says everything is Satyam. You are different, everybody is different. Ishvara is the whole and you are in the whole. You are a small in the whole.
Part of it. Like they have the Sayujyam, Sanidhyam, all those the kind of proximity to God. They are part of God, like they can be the Shankha, they can be the Chakra, they can be Vishnu himself. Like, there are multiple Vishnus moving around in Vaikuntha, but the real Vishnu has Srivatsa and the Lakshmi on him, where the other Vishnus who look like him, like even the Dwarapalakas, they are also looking like Vishnu only. But, they don't have the Sri Lakshmi and the Srivatsa on the chest and things like that. That is Vishnu Advaita, but they can be a part of Vishnu.
Srivatsang, Rakshasam, right?
Yeah.
The right side or something. No, right.
So you can become Sarupyam also. And Sayujyam, Salopyam, Sanidhyam, all those things, different things they have. Like
there is no Mithya. Everything is Satyam.
Yeah.
Everything is a journey there.
Because everything is Satyam, journey is not Mithya. The journey is also Satyam.
According to them.
Time is Satyam. Space is Satyam. Bhoga is Satyam. And instead of enjoying here, you will enjoy in Vaikuntha.
You will be singing the songs and enjoying everything that is in Vaikuntha, basically. All that is there for Vishnu and however close you are to Vishnu.
Satyam. So all that is Satyam. The whole world is Satyam. Whatever you talk of is Satyam. There is no Mithya, I'm saying.
Yeah.
Therefore, the Satyam Mithya argument is unnecessary in Vasishtha-Advaita. Correct? Unnecessary.
Yeah, only in Advaita.
You can't even bring, there's no room to bring in Satyam and Mithya. There's no room. This one, Vaishnavacharya will bring a pot to class and talk like that. Because not needed. That is not part of the curriculum. Satyam, everything is Satyam. The question is, you have to go from the Bholoka Satyam to Vaikuntha Loka Satyam. You can do that only if you become a Vaishnava. Only if you surrender to Vishnu or any of them. Sharanagati.
Prapatti and Sharanagati.
We don't say it's wrong. Why it's not wrong? It's not wrong because it works. We say it is part of the Vyavaharika Satyam. It is another thing which is part of the Vyavaharika Satyam. And you will have to gain some punyam in this Vyavahara Pradhana Lokaha. Okay. And then the punyam will take you to Vaikuntha. We don't have, we can ask, prove to me that you will go to Vaikuntha after this death. I can ask the question, but I don't have to ask because Chadda, they are saying if you will go to heaven. So why should I question that? I'm not interested in disproving that. Okay, I'm not interested. I'm saying that is true. You will go to Vaikuntha. That also I will accept. But I will be there forever hereafter. And all if you say, this is called bogus. Advaita will say it's bogus.
You'll have to come back. That's what Advaita will say.
You'll have to come back, but you will be there in what form? The same form will be there all the time. All the time, that same one particular body. You think you're going to have a body. That also they say, you'll have a body. Okay, I'll be dancing Golok and all this Dandiya and all, I'll be playing. So I'll have a body, I'll have an individual. And that individuality will be there forever. Vaikuntha will be there forever. This forever idea, unless you question time, forever idea becomes very important. Unless we question time, that is why Advaita, for those who say, nahi, ye sab humko nahi chahiye. I'm fine with my God. That's fine. So whatever they say is true, but the part that is not true is this eternal heaven. Heaven, I'll accept. Vaikuntha, I'll accept. Vaikuntha is a better heaven than other heavens. That also I'm willing to accept. I don't need any proof for all that. I'll accept what you say. But eternal heaven, we cannot accept. Yeah, the word eternal is a very meaningful word that you're talking about Atma at that time. Only Atma is eternal. Nothing else is eternal. That's where we will say, okay, that we can't accept. And all is there. And so there, he explained that mantra. The other day, I happened to listen to, my father was listening every day at 8:30, 9 o'clock, something is going on here. And he explained it. Velukudi explained it. He said, Shine Punya Bhaktilokam Mission. He said, there are different Swargas. You will go to Swargam, not Vaikuntham, you go to Swargam. And he said, hey Arjuna, you want to go to one Swargam, come back, another Swargam, come back. Why don't you directly come to Vaikuntha? Really, it struck me. Oh yeah, that is the way it is.
I was about to ask you that question, Guruji. Like Shvobhavaha and all, how do they explain? Like it's a very strong word, There is nothing which is permanent and which you can enjoy.
One thing I've noticed. Teaching of the Upanishads is not a big part of Ishta. I've been waiting for listening to what you just said. It is, I'm yet to find. If you find, please send me some. I want listen to at least 1 hour talk, and then I want to hear it.
Because yesterday, like our Veda Guruji, we are having a pravachana. He was saying Vishishta Advaita is not Jnana Marga, it is Bhakti Marga.
No, but they say bhakti will give them moksha.
Yeah,
that is what is
moksha. They are not
yeah. Yeah, so moksha, bhakti is not a problem. Advaita also accepts bhakti as one of the yogas or sadhanas to do chitta shuddhi, but it doesn't say that it will give you moksha. Jnani will automatically get bhakti, but you have to be a jnani to get moksha. Whereas there, they say bhakti is the thing for moksha. That is what sometimes I get confused is.
But the definition of moksha is different, right? The definition of moksha.
Yeah, the idea is different. That's what, but like, that's why I ask sometimes, what is moksha according to them and things like that. Is that real moksha again?
If you are, there is no conflict. There is no conflict because they have surrendered.
Yeah, that's what, but is that moksha, if you come back again, like according to, again, because we also support the Advaita view, that's why maybe we need to talk to somebody who really can explain to us, because this question always is there. That is not moksha then, like, see, like,
you get a hold of a person who is Vaishnava, who is studying Bhagavad Gita, and get all these ideas. Even I want to know, because I've been wanting to know, but I'm not finding time, because if I go after that, then I'll have to give up this. And that's the only reason. It's not like I want to know. Please, some essence you can find out, you let me know. You ask them those questions. How do you explain Shine Punya Bhaktilokam Vishanti? How do you explain Tattvamasti?
You can listen to some recordings.
How can you say you are Brahma? The first thing they'll ask is, Aham Brahmasmi. How can you say you are the Brahman? That is what they'll question, and that is like totally something like created. How can that be true and things like that? And like, I don't have that much knowledge. I just like listen, and sometimes it creates curiosity.
No, it's good to know what they say. If they say, oh, Dharma is a concept, it's created, it doesn't exist. I want to hear that. I want to know that that's what they say. And so that, I also want to know, because some of these critical areas, right? How do they respond?
Yeah. What do they explain it on? Like, what is the basis to say that?
Another person said, I don't know why they do dhyana. Christian Sridhar said that. I don't know why they do dhyana. Which is correct. If your goal is to go to Vaikuntha and enjoy, why would you sit and do dhyana, which is a very most boring thing? Dhyanam is the most boring thing to do. I mean, unless you do dhyanam and you like it and all different. But otherwise, forcing yourself to sit for half an hour is a lost half an hour. Where is the time to waste time like this? Not that. So correct. So that guy, then I got it, because Dushyant Sridhar is the number one here. Okay, in southern part of India, he's become
Yeah, I've listened to some of his lectures, to the English ones. But still, I mean, my knowledge is limited, so I cannot claim anything. But it would be interesting to know.
Correct.
I think Bhakti Marga predominance, I think, answers a lot of questions.
Fair enough. So fair enough. That's what it is. So bhakti and bhakti only. Therefore, that separation is always there.
So, yeah.
And therefore, travel will be there, automatic. And therefore, going to a particular place, their weak point is this eternality. You will be there forever idea and all. Even a scientist cannot accept. Forget Vedanta. Even a scientist will not accept. Because change, even a CEO of any company will say, change is the name of the game. Change is the name of the game. And so things are changing within Vaikuntha also. And population control problem will come in Vaikuntha sometime. Because many Vaishnavas are going there. Then what about Bhagavan will get bored with this? You will have to go for a vacation. Within Vaikuntha will go for a vacation. Okay. How many yugas, many janma, everything. Okay. Then what happens to Pralaya? Vaikuntha does not go away in Pralaya. Vaikuntha is manifest, Vyaktam. Avyaktam is there. Shastra is talking about. Then what? Vaikuntha is immune to Pralaya. Because how can God's home be destroyed in Pralaya? That's ridiculous. Come on, guys. You don't understand God at all. Okay? God's home cannot be destroyed. Okay, please.
And where will Vishnu go during Pralaya?
Huh?
Where will Vishnu go during Pralaya?
So I think what we should do is we should have a friendly conversation with some of our Vaishnavas. Knowledgeable Vaishnavas, not anybody. Anybody you talk, they may not be able to help you. Somebody knowledgeable.
And again, in Vaikuntha or Goloka or whatever it is, there will be Raga Dvesha. For example, if Krishna is with Gopi and, like won't they feel like I should be with Krishna or Vishnu all the time? And, like if somebody is closer, they might feel some kind of, I'm trying to see that, you'll be still very happy there kind of situation. There will be still some kind of Raga Dvesha existing as long as you have your mind and, whatever situation it could be, very best of best could be there, but when there is multiplicity, you'll still have that kind of emotional instability or something will be going on. I don't know what to say exactly, but you will compare yourself.
Yeah, this is Pujya Swamiji's famous joke. Maybe I'll tell it the other day. Hey, but he said, a lot of people are sitting, and then this guy is sitting behind saying, that guy must have done a lot of punya, sitting close to Vishnu.
Yeah, like the proximity
way behind. What will happen? These ideas. Again, same buddhi, because this buddhi is not going to change.
Mind is there.
My mind, comparing mind and the raga dvesha endowed mind is going to come with me wherever I
again.
Maybe we should ask him that question. How do they explain it? Maybe with less punyam for him or more punyam to them. Oh, now you're talking. People are unequal there also. In Vaikuntha, there is inequality. I thought game is over after I go to think. Now you're saying there are some people with unequal punya and more punya and less punya. This is too much. This is too much. I thought everybody has become same. One end game, correct?
There also competition.
It will be good to ask all this. Mohaniji, I'm not making any judgments. I
would like to know. That's what, like I said, it is there. I mean, I'm not saying it is right or wrong. I just want to know, like sometimes these questions arise and, like we don't find answers. So that's why I raised it just like that.
For me, it is a little more difficult to meet all these Vaishnava acharyas because when they look at me itself, there's a distance. And so we don't disturb each other. We say, okay, you be in your space, I'll be.
Actually, yesterday I heard that Ramanujacharya's guru was a Advaita Acharya.
Say that again.
Ramanujacharya's guru, he learned from a strong Advaita Acharya who has written Bhashyam on the Prasthanatraya.
Oh, correct. And his name was
Yamunacharya.
Huh?
Yamunacharya or something like that.
No.
Some other name is there. Anyway.
Oh, that was the one who taught him Vishishtadvaita. I'm sorry.
Later they parted actually.
I see.
His entire learning was from a strong Advaita Acharya.
Some Vrishabhacharya.
Yes.
I'll tell you the name. I recorded that.
And then he left.
So you know what? Yesterday in the talk, I told them one thing. I said, a Dvaiti cannot appreciate Vishishtadvaita. A Vishishtadvaiti cannot appreciate Advaita. But an Advaiti can appreciate Vishishtadvaita and Dvaita. And resolve everything. Yes, there is a place for everything. And I know what the problems are there are. And I'm fine with that. So that I mentioned that in the class session yesterday. Which is what
Jaykumarji, this Advaitam is the evolution of this triangular binary format to that Jiva Ishvara Aikyam, oneness. Is it not so? Jiva Jagat Ishvara, that is triangular format.
So this is Swami Paravidyananda's terminology, triangular format, which means what? Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara. There are three things. All three are Satyam.
Yeah.
Therefore, in order for me to live in this Jagat, I need the grace of Ishvara. This is called Vishishtadvaita. Advaita also, whatever, Vishishtadvaita. But then binary format, we said, binary means what? Tattvam is there, but it's the binary is collapsed into one. I'm not separate from Ishvara. Therefore, that Swami calls it binary format. And you used another word, Rukminiji, it's called evolution. See, this word evolution, I think that's what they were asking yesterday also. Is Vishishta Advaita a preparatory step to Advaita? That is what they asked. Now, I said many knowledgeable people say that. That's what I said. Because otherwise it look as though I'm making a judgment about this Vishishta Advaita. I didn't want to make that happen. And but it looks, evolution means what? Evolution in one's life or what? That is a question. Yeah, so I gave them the example of how our appreciation keeps changing in time, right? We think, the child will think so many things are real, but the child slowly learns that, you know what? It's not the way it is. And then go to college and then get infatuated. And then somebody has to come and say, you know what, guy? I think this is the be all end all. It's not be all end. Somebody has to say. So constantly we are being told this is not right, this is not right. So we have a lot to grow out of. And so if you want to call it evolution, then I suppose it's evolution. But many people say that. Because Mithyatvam is hard to, it has to be grasped, and to say that all the great things I enjoy, you can't continue to enjoy. Means, I mean, we don't say we should not continue to enjoy, but we say that that's all Mithya. Bhoga is Mithya. Bhoga will not give you moksha. I will continue my bhoga in heaven. That is what everybody wants. We're all bhoga purusha, you know. How can I continue? How can I secure my enjoyment forever? Vishishta Advaita is the answer to secure my enjoyment forever. Correct? Therefore, it's very attractive. It's attractive. It's very popular, and it is like an insurance plan. It says, okay, something's were to happen, then this thing will come. Vishishta Advaita is saying nothing will happen. You will die. They don't say you will not die. That I don't think they say. Definitely, this body has to be given up. Better be prepared for that. But after that, it's all great. It's going to be great. I think that seems to be, I mean, Christianity is no different. Islam is no different, in my opinion. No different. Some words may be different. Some Vishnu and all may be different. But otherwise, no different. Then Bhoga, this I will be enjoying forever after my death. This is the sum and substance of every other dharma. So anyway, we'll stop this discussion. Okay, it's 9:50, 8:50 here. I have a class coming shortly. Okay. Thank you. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraye Amrita Kalashahastaya Sarvamaya Vinashanaya Trailokyanataya Shri Mahavishnave Namaha.